The desert highway was quiet except for the occasional roar of a truck. In the middle of nowhere stood Rusty's Roadhouse Bar, its neon sign buzzing and flickering like a tired heartbeat. Rusty's was a place where broken bikers, lonely truckers and drifters found escape in beer, smoke and country music. Inside, the atmosphere was warm but rowdy. A jukebox played an old Johnny Cash song. Glasses clinked, pool balls cracked, and the smell of grilled burgers drifted through the air. Behind the counter stood Lily, a young waitress no older than 25. She wasn't flashy or loud like other bartenders. She kept her hair tied back, wore no jewelry, and always dressed in long-sleeved shirts, no matter the season. People noticed, but no one asked. Everyone sensed she carried secrets she wasn't ready to share. Still, the regulars loved her. Lily had a kindness that softened the rough edges of men who spent their lives on the road. She remembered names, poured drinks with a smile, and never judged anyone's past. But on that particular Friday night, the mood shifted the moment a biker gang rolled in. The front door banged open, and 6 men in black leather stomped inside. Their jackets bore the emblem of the Iron Vultures, a feared gang that ruled the highways. Leading them was Hawk, a tall man with a face carved by scars and eyes that carried menace. His very presence seemed to drain the air. The chatter in the bar quieted. A couple of truckers lowered their eyes. Even the jukebox suddenly seemed too loud. Hawk enjoyed the fear. He walked to the counter, slammed his helmet down and barked, "Beer cold now." Lily didn't flinch. She calmly poured a mug and slid it to him. Hawk smirked. "You're a brave little waitress," he said, his voice rough. "Most women can't even look me in the eye." Lily gave her usual polite smile and turned away to serve another customer. Hawk's smirk darkened. He wasn't used to being ignored. He slammed his mug so hard that beer splashed across the counter. "You think you can brush me off?" Hawk growled. His men laughed, enjoying the show. Lily stepped back, keeping her voice calm. "Sir, I don't want any trouble." But Hawk grabbed her wrist before she could move. His hand was rough, his grip strong. The bar grew tense. Everyone was watching. "What are you hiding under that shirt?" Hawk sneered. "You wear long sleeves in July? What's the secret? Scars? Tattoos? Or maybe you're ashamed of something?" "Let go," Lily said firmly, trying to pull free. Instead, Hawk grinned cruelly and with one violent tug, ripped the sleeve of her shirt. The tearing sound echoed like a gunshot. And then the whole bar froze. On Lily's exposed arm was no scar, no girlish tattoo. Instead, there was a faded military ink, the screaming eagle of the 101st Airborne Division. Just below it, etched permanently in her skin, were a series of numbers. For a second, no one breathed. A couple of older veterans sitting at the corner table recognized it instantly. The numbers were dog-tag IDs. Hawk's smirk faltered. His grip loosened. His men, once laughing, now stared in confusion.
You served?"
One of the older men whispered from across the bar. Lily didn't answer. Her face had gone pale. Her eyes clouded not with fear of Hawk, but with the weight of memories she had tried to bury. She pulled her arm back, covering the tattoo as best she could, and spoke in a low, trembling voice, "Don't ever touch me again." The bar was silent. Hawk, the man who never backed down, suddenly looked unsure. Something about that tattoo shook him. The scarred biker who had broken bones and ruled highways now stood frozen, staring at a woman half his size. And the strangest part, he looked afraid. The jukebox crackled, the song still playing faintly in the background. Glasses stood untouched. The tension was so heavy you could feel it pressing against your skin. Nobody knew what story lay behind Lily's ink. Nobody knew why the toughest biker in town suddenly lost his voice. But everyone sensed the truth. This waitress wasn't ordinary. She had lived through battles far worse than a drunk biker's threats. And Hawk, for the first time in a long time, realized he might have picked the wrong person to mess with. But the night wasn't over. The tattoo wasn't just a memory, it was a warning. And soon, the entire bar would learn what it really meant. The bar remained silent, every eye locked on Lily's arm. The faded military tattoo glared back like a ghost from another life. Hawk released her slowly, his scarred hands trembling in a way none of his men had ever seen. Lily pulled her sleeve down, her breath shaky. She had spent years hiding that part of herself. To the world, she was just a waitress. But now the truth was out. An older man at the corner table finally broke the silence. His name was Tommy, a Vietnam vet who lived off his pension and drank at Rusty's most nights. His voice was rough with age but steady. 101st Airborne, he muttered. That's no joke. Girl, you served? Lily swallowed hard, her eyes glistening. She hadn't planned on telling her story here, not in front of strangers. But after Hawk tore her sleeve, there was no hiding. Yes, she whispered. I served Afghanistan, 6 years. Gasps rippled through the room. A couple of men removed their hats in respect. Hawk's crew shifted uncomfortably, no longer laughing. Lily continued, her voice gaining strength. That tattoo, those numbers, they're not just ink. They're the names and IDs of the men in my unit. My brothers, the ones who didn't make it back. The bar grew heavier. Everyone listened, caught in her words. I was a medic, she said. My job was to save lives. But sometimes, no matter what I did, I couldn't. Those numbers, she tapped her arm gently, are the ones I carry so they're never forgotten. Her voice cracked, but she didn't cry. She stood tall, her shoulders squared like a soldier still on duty. Across from her, Hawk's jaw clenched. He looked at her tattoo again, then at her face. For the first time in years, he felt smaller than the person in front of him. You were there? He asked quietly. Lily's eyes narrowed. Why does it matter to you? Hawk hesitated. The bar had never seen him uncertain, never seen the Iron Vulture's leader hesitate. He finally spoke, his voice low. Because I was there too. A stunned hush fell. Hawk tugged at his leather jacket, pulling it aside to reveal his chest. There beneath his shirt was a faint scar, shrapnel, old and jagged. He pointed to it. Kandahar, 2008, I was Army 2nd Infantry. Took a blast, nearly died. Got sent home with a limp and a discharge paper. Nobody cared. Not the Army, not my family. Only the Vultures took me in. The gang looked at their leader in shock. Few of them had ever heard him talk about his past. Hawk never showed weakness. But tonight, Lily's tattoo had stripped his armor. Lily stared at him, her heart pounding. She hadn't expected this. She remembered the year, the location, the chaos. Her eyes softened just slightly. Then you know, she said. You know what it's like to lose brothers. To wake up at night hearing their voices. To wonder why you survived when they didn't. Hawk's mouth opened, then closed. For the first time, his eyes looked human. Not cruel, not menacing, but broken. The bar was silent, even. The jukebox had stopped playing. Finally, Hawk stepped back, releasing the last of his pride. His voice shook. I didn't know. I thought you were just some girl working tables. I was wrong. His men shifted uneasily, waiting for orders. But Hawk didn't bark commands. He didn't demand beer. He simply nodded at Lily, then turned to his gang. We're leaving. The Vultures looked confused, but obeyed. One by one they filed out of the bar, leather jackets brushing past tables. Hawk lingered at the door, glancing back one last time. His scarred face softened. Respect, he said quietly. Then he was gone. The door shut behind him, and the bar slowly breathed again. Rusty, the owner, came out from the back, shaking his head. Well, I'll be damned. I've run this place 30 years and never saw Hawk back down. Girl, you froze the meanest biker in 3 states. Lily gave a small, tired smile. It wasn't me, she said softly. It was them. She touched her arm, where the numbers lay inked. My brothers. The bar raised their glasses in silent honor. Tommy stood and gave her a salute, his old eyes wet. That night, Lily finished her shift in peace. No one dared bother her. No one asked for more than a drink and a nod. They all carried the weight of what they'd seen. And though she went back to wiping counters and carrying trays, everyone knew Lily wasn't just a waitress anymore. She was a soldier, a survivor, a reminder that heroes don't always wear uniforms forever. Sometimes they serve beers at a roadside bar, quietly carrying stories the world will never fully understand. As she closed the bar at midnight, Lily stepped outside into the cool desert air. The stars above shimmered like medals pinned across the sky. She whispered under her breath, the same words she said every night. I didn't forget you. I never will. Then she walked home, shoulders straight, knowing her secret was no longer hidden, but respected. And from that night on, no biker, no drifter, no drunk ever touched her again. Because everyone knew Rusty's waitress wasn't just a girl, she was a warrior.